Welcome to the Black Appalachian Coalition's podcast entitled Black Remembering, where we will bring to you the heavy and the hope across the Ohio River Valley. We want to remember who we are, where we've come from. We want to speak to the oral history of what we've done, what we've achieved. We want to speak to the ills that we have experienced while also finding solutions to those problems, those issues. We want to deal with the narrative that has kept us deeply rooted in despair. Now we want to punch through that narrative and stand up and say, we are remembering our Black past, and we are rooted, and we are here to stay. Welcome to Black Remembering. We hope that you find your place, your space, and your voice in this podcast.
Hello again. My name is Robert Lewis Hunter. I'm a narrative organizer for Black Appalachian Coalition, and I'm happy to have Unique back again. Thank you. I just was wanting to take a little bit more of your time to specifically go over a mutual aid 101, some tips and tricks you think would be important to get people involved, because every single episode I have will either be an interview or directly how to get involved, because I do find it sometimes cumbersome when they don't give you anything more than, life kind of sucks right now. You're like, can you tell us some stuff to help? That being said, I am going to start it off. You don't always have to start it off. I promise you, if you look around, because everybody's trying to be the newest Johnny come lately. If you look around, there are organizations for you to get involved with. I can almost guarantee you within a 10-mile radius of where you live.
More times than not, those said organizations around you are looking for help, are screaming for help at this point. And help looks different for different people. For me, for our community free store, there are so many ways you can get involved. Can you drop off your clean Walmart, wherever you shop bags? Those bags, we use those to bag the food that we give out to the community. And so that's something that doesn't cost. And if you don't have a way to bring it to the pantry, then we can pick it up from you. And I'm sure it's the same for other free stores or mutual aid organizations. And then there's monthly giving. And usually when I say monthly giving, people think larger amounts. But can you give $1 a month? And sometimes the answer is no. But oftentimes the answer is, yeah, I can give $1. I didn't know that you could give that small of an amount. And the answer is yes, you can. Please give what you can. Which brings me to my next point, that everything counts. I can't tell you the weight it lifts off of me when I get a message that says, hey, do you need a flyer created anytime soon? And I'm like, yes, I can cross that off of my list, because trust, the list is long for not just me, but for other community organizers. There's always something you can do. In terms of food, my advice for food is connecting with your local food bank. So for us in Marshall County, that is the Food Bank of North Alabama. They are located in Huntsville. But if you are in Etowah County or even down to Central Alabama, there is the Food Bank of Central Alabama, or Central Alabama Food Bank. I can't remember how they word theirs. Those food banks get food from farmers, from local grocery stores, other community donations, and they charge us, the agencies, very little to come pick up this food. And so when I say very little, I can get a pound of ground beef for 7 cents. So don't feel bad for giving $1. That's a lot of ground beef for $1. And it's appreciated by me and for the people who are getting these resources. And I think the last thing that I'll say about mutual aid is more than ever, at least in our lifetime, in our generations, we need each other. It's not going to work. We're not going to survive without each other. And I think every day it's becoming more evident that no one is coming to save us. No one from the government. There's no superhero coming to save us. We are literally all we've got. And the quicker we realize that and start to work with each other, the better off we'll be.
Thank you again. What I would add to that is you're 100% correct on all fronts. When you come into working for the community, you have to act responsibly for the community. And that does sometimes come with humility. It is the correct thing and the responsible thing to say to you, yes, Unique, you're 100% correct, as the work you're doing currently is the work I was doing years ago. But because it's been such a long time, I'm rusty. But for a lot of people, they close doors and they close conversations and they close connections because they aren't even willing to take that first step of, I'm going to be clear, honest, and transparent, and maybe a little weak for 5 seconds with you saying this. You have to be willing to talk to your community to actually build connections with your community. You can't, and that's another thing. There are hard lines that you sometimes have to take when it comes to protecting your community as well. But there are soft lines that you have to get used to. There just are. If you're doing the work correctly, you're going to have some people that have federal differences. When it comes to federal policy, they feel different, they act different than if their local policy. Building coalitions means you have to work with some inconsistencies in your ideology or in other people's ideology. That's just the case because your community is made of more people than just your preferred people in your preferred bubble. And you can't chastise them for it because burning those bridges permanently could take away other opportunities or your ability for them to change how they feel on certain policies and certain ideologies. A part of what keeps us out of community is specifically those edges of uncomfortability and those propaganda ideology that can be easily broken down or sometimes take a while to break down. Both can be true. But yeah. I have friends that disagree with me on federal policy that I know if I called them and said, hey, there's some people that were affected by the storm. We're going to round up 10 people, make sure their kid gets to school for the next 2 weeks while they figure out their car situation. They got me.
Yeah.
I know that's technically off the branding of mutual aid, but it's very important to make it work. Was there anything else you wanted to add? Was there any other particulars? And I wanted to ask tell us more specifically about your nonprofit and how people can get involved if our listeners are in Marshall County or in the surrounding counties of Alabama.
Yeah, so my nonprofit or our nonprofit, I try to stay away from mine because it doesn't belong to me. But I did found a nonprofit called Reclaiming Our Time in Marshall County. But we have done some statewide work. But usually we try to keep it local. We operate a community free store. It is in Albertville, Alabama, about 30-40 minutes from Gadsden, Etowah County. And then the other direction, probably about an hour 15 from Huntsville. Same for Birmingham. We do two main things. We advocate for folks. When an injustice happens, we strive to be that go-to organization to help get justice, and that could look 1,000 different ways. And then the second thing that we do is we provide groceries and hygiene products for people in need. Um, and we do this every day. But it is something that we are very proud to do, and it is an honor to be an example of what community looks like. And I'm excited to continue to build on what we have started and to meet new people who have um, the same drive and passion for others as we do. You can follow us on Facebook. I know it's a little outdated, but that is where our people are. So we're always going to be where our people are. Um, we have a Reclaiming Our Time page and a Community Free Store of Marshall County page. You can find us there. You can find me there as well, Unique Morgan Dunstan. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate you considering helping us as well as the people and organizations around you. And I hope you find time to rest.
Thank you again, Unique. This is Robert Hunter. I'm signing off for this mini episode, and I'm very happy for those that are taking the time to listen, and more to come. Y'all have a good one.